life and it is all blue. I see a sunset on the beach, yeah. It makes me feel calm. When I'm calm, I feel good. And when I feel good, I sing. And the joy it brings makes me feel good. And when I feel good, I sing of the joy it brings. To feel good. And when I feel good, I sing. And the joy it brings makes me feel good. And when I feel good, I sing. And the joy it brings. I say, come on along. I know you really want to feel our song. We've got some life to bring. We've got some joy in this.
Good morning, everybody. So glad you're here. We are live at the clubhouse on Highland. Today we made an announcement that I woke up this morning, actually during the middle of the night. I started feeling a little congested and kind of had some cold symptoms, and I had possibly come in contact with somebody who didn't know they had COVID, and they're still not quite sure. So we just thought with being serious about being precautious that we would kind of augment and alter things a little bit today. So there are people who are going to be gathering on the porch, some folks who don't feel necessarily comfortable with being in a room, but then we decided to move the chairs back a little bit so I wouldn't be spitting on anybody, but I don't plan on spitting on anybody anyway. But I'm so glad that y'all are here and you've decided to be with us today. Today we're also having a going away party for Hazel, who's getting ready to go to her next adventure. And so there's going to be cake and stuff. I feel like we're partying all the time. We just keep adding parties to it because that's just kind of like what we like to do. But if you would just take a moment, there's several people who have decided to join us just by live streaming. We welcome you here. We thank you for being with us. Take a moment, if you would, to just breathe in deep and allow space for the pure presence to just flood into the room wherever you are, into your soul. We know that with everything that's going on in the world, we choose to be thankful and grateful that things are as good as they are. We choose to see the good and the God in everything and in everyone. We are choosing to not be afraid. We can be cautious and we can be lovingly aware of everything that's going on without being fearful. And so we are loveful instead of judgmental, and we are loveful instead of fearful. And so we just say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, pure presence, for guiding and directing us. I was going to do a different song to open today, but I feel like in this moment, this is the one I want to do. So I'm kind of messing up the outline we had, but she knows how to flow with me because I do that all the time, don't I? see you cry, lying there in that position. There's things you need to hear, so turn off your tears and listen. Pain throws your heart to the ground. Love turns the whole thing around. No, it won't all go the way it should, but I know the heart of life is good. Now, you know it's nothing new, 'cause bad news never has good time. Then the circle of your friends that will defend the silver lining. Pain throws your heart to the ground. Yeah, but love turns the whole thing around. And no, it won't all go the way it should, but I know the heart of life is good. Throws your heart to the ground. Yeah, but love turns the whole thing around. You know fear is a friend who's misunderstood, but I know the heart of life is good. Said I know it's good. I know it's good. I said life is good. And for everybody who came in a little later, one of the reasons that the seats are seated like this in here today is, again, I had put an advert out, and we tried to kind of get the word around. This morning I woke up feeling a little cruddy, kind of some congestion and cold-like symptoms, so we decided, just a few of us, to lean toward caution and simply just allow for more space. But then space feels good, right? It feels really good. We are partying for Hazel, who's getting ready to move on her new adventure. And so we will have cake and party stuff out on the porch. But if you feel comfortable in the room, I'm glad to have you in the room. And those who are joining us in your room, some of y'all in your pajamas still, yeah, you're welcome. We have folks join us from really around the world by live stream today, so we welcome you all. And for some of you it's daylight, and some of you it's dark. When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, something without warning, love, weighs heavy on my mind, yeah. Then I look at you, and the world is alright with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be, I said it's gonna be when the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face. lovely day. We all get to decide every single moment how that moment's how we're going to perceive the moment. And so I'm so thankful for that. And this is a song, I just feel like singing. So I'm just going to kind of like sing a little bit, and we'll chat a little bit, and we'll meditate and levitate a little bit. I wrote this song it was on a morning similar to this morning. Because when I woke up this morning, I was like, oh, my body feels weird, and then my mind feels weird, and then but it's so nice to finally be in a place, though, where I realize I am not the sum total of my thoughts. I'm not this body, that I'm able to really, I can interpret the world through this body and make sense, what I call the five senses. That's how we make sense of life. So I can make sense through this body, but I always have this knowing that I am the knowing, not the condition that's known. I'm the awareness, not the condition or situation that I'm aware of. But one morning I woke up and I was headed to a songwriting session with a friend of mine, Bill DeLuigi, and this song here came out of that songwriting session, and it was one of those deals where I was not inspired that morning. I tell people, I say I had no inspiration. I had plenty of perspiration at the time. And I was just not feeling it. And you don't really want to walk into a songwriting session in Nashville with a songwriter and not have some kind of an idea of something, But I did that day. And when I got to Bill's place, he was like, hey, dude, hey, man, how are you doing? And I was like, oh, my God. It was one of those days where you kind of, misery loves company. And I was having one of those days. This is, 10 years ago. And he said, you okay? And I said, I'm fine. It's just kind of one of those weeks. And he was like, oh, okay, all right, well. He said, well, you got anything on your mind? And I was like, no, not at all. No inspiration? You haven't been working on anything? Nope, not at all. And he was like, well, okay. So he started strumming a little bit, and I grabbed my guitar, and we started strumming together. And honestly, what we did was we started counting our blessings. You can count calories if you want to, and you can count friends on social media, or you can count your blessings. That's the choice we all get to make. Society's asking you to count the other stuff. But I think the universe is asking us to count our blessings. As we begin to count our blessings, this song came out of it. When I was just a boy, I'd hear my mama pray. I thought she was crazy. Then one rainy day on a broken highway, the old devil came my way. His promises were empty, but his tongue was dipped in gold. Thank God my mama left a little light on in my soul, like burning embers, words I remember. May you see the world with childlike wonder, and may love shine down from whatever sky you're under. May your feet grow wings to fly above the thunder. And whatever road you're on, may your heart never leave home. Well, I've chased the beauty of unfamiliar stars. I dropped tears into a bottle in the darkness of a bar, but it left me thirsty, empty in the worst way. And I've seen the fountains of Italy and France, stood on prayers like mountains, held rubies in my hands like burning embers, words I remember. May you see the world with childlike wonder, and may love shine down from whatever sky you're under. May your feet grow wings to fly above the thunder. And whatever road you're on, may your heart never leave home. May you see the world with childlike wonder, and may love shine down from whatever sky you're under. May your feet grow wings to fly above the thunder. Whatever road you're on, yeah, may your heart never leave home. May your Everybody good? Everybody send a smile. I know you're sitting behind a mask, but your eyes, did you know your eyes smile? So smile at somebody. Did you want to sing? You want to sing a song? You're like, no, don't be asking me that. I know I run a risk with singing this one, but I need this to be in my spirit today. And I know the rain is supposed to be coming, so I'm aware of that, but I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all the obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that once had me blind. So it's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. So it's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Yes, I can make it now, the pain is gone. All the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Oh, look around you, there's nothing but blue sky. Yeah, look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue skies. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all the obstacles in my way. Y'all, here is that rainbow I've been praying for. So it's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. So it's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. So it's gonna be a bright, yeah, bright, sunshiny day. A sunshiny day. Woo. Yeah. Man, I'm in a singing mood today. Everybody online good? Everybody? I know there's some folks who are staying a little more. You just talk about social distancing, man. You can say, if you're watching it through your computer or phone, that's real social distancing there. But you know what? One of the things I love about technology, and let me say this, I kind of feel today that there are some things that have really been getting, I know I sound weird when I say this, but downloaded into my spirit over the last week or so. And you can ask Carrie. She's asked me several times, are you okay? Because I've really kind of felt strange. And in a cool way, though. But I felt like there's just this interesting portal that's kind of opened up over the top of my head. And it's getting through easier because there's no hair anymore. So it's making its way through there. And I've had some of these moments. It's really a good thing that the nonprofit that I work for during the week has not needed me a whole lot, because I've really sort of been in an interesting fog. Typically that happens to me really between Christmas and New Year's, because I always want to be open to what is happening inside of me going into the next year. But I guess this time I was just sort of like, well, I'm not really going to try to press into that, because I just want to be in the moment. And then when I didn't need to hear a message, sort of a message or a theme for the year, it came. And it's just been downloading ever since. So there's some things I wanted to share, if you're okay with that, just some things that I feel like are sort of a forecast, but that sounds psychic or it sounds prophetic, and I don't want it to be pathetic. And just kind of like be in line with like what everybody else is doing. Some of the things that I want to share, I just need to tell you this is sort of how I'm perceiving what I've been seeing. And so if it lands for you and it works for you, fine. I think all of you know this about me by now. There's no obligation. I don't live in obligation. I believe that obligation or feeling like we need to be somewhere out of obligation or we need to do something out of obligation. Well, I was going to say it vacuums because you're not supposed to say it sucks in church. But since we're not in church, I'll say it sucks to live your life that way, feeling obligated to do anything. And how many of you have ever like been a member of a church or a spiritual community and you sort of felt like you had to go? Because if I don't show up, Sister So-and-so is going to call me on Monday and ask me why I wasn't there. In some places, you do get interrogated like that. That's not the way we roll. One Love is just, it's free, it's open, it's be here. If you are not able to be here, nobody's judging that. If you decide to be somewhere else, nobody's judging that. I refuse to live that way. And there's a wonderful freedom to that. I'm very fluid, and I'm learning how to turn into steam, which just you can't capture. It's just like I've mentioned to you before, my mild obsession with water. It's really what Alan Watts called the Wu Way, or the waterway, flowing with it. And water becomes solid and it's ice. Then it's cold and it's easy to crack. But then it becomes water and you can't wound it, even if you can unsettle it. Steam is even more mysterious. And it's another form of water. It's where water just essentially changes its shape. But it knows the whole time that it's really not any shape of any sort. The water that I have in here is, and there's like green tea, some kind of immune building something in there, so it looks green, because it is. The water has taken the shape of this vessel because water is just that flexible. And I want to be that flexible. I don't know about you. Somebody said to me the other day, they said, oh my God, 2020 just bled over into 2021. I hope 2021 doesn't bleed over into 2022. Too bad. It really already has, because we really are in what I perceive to be about a 7 or 8 year revolution and evolution of our society. Okay, where there's societal change, there's disruption and interruption, and what would I believe we're going to see transpire over the next several months is the unveiling of even more stuff that if you're caught up in the moment or needing the systems to support you, it's going to be a little disheartening and possibly make you feel even more emotionally strained. And somebody in here right now is saying, oh my God, don't tell me that. Well, the systems need to be disrupted because they have not served the purpose of the universe. They have not served the purpose of love and inclusion and equality and an understanding of who we really are. And so because there is a conscious revival. Now see, if I was in old church, there'd be some folks going to say, make it plain, preacher. Because we're in consciousness revival, there's a need to really shake off the other stuff. Taylor Swift had it right. Shake it off. So there's a shaking that's happening. There is a disruption. The corruption is being pushed to the top. The shakiness of our system that's built on nothing but illusion is all coming to fruition. I believe we're going to actually, within the next 90 days, we're actually going to see evidence of where this whole COVID thing came from to start with. I think it's going to be so plain that the whole world's going to be like, what? And didn't see that coming. I believe we have a sort of a triangle of interesting things to watch between the United States, China, and Russia. I think that there's some very interesting, like what I saw was the flag of each one of those nations, and they were taught, instead of flying in the wind, they were taught, like a dog's tail, when it wags, they're okay to deal with. But when that tail goes stiffened, that means that they are on what? Alert. So I saw the flags not flying in the wind, I saw them just taut. And there's an interesting weirdness right now between these three powerful countries. All of that is to say that everything is experiencing a shaking. In fact, look at your neighbor as close as they are to you and say, are you shook up? Because it was Elvis's birthday yesterday and I'm all shook up. And I feel the function of that is important because the planet needs this. And we may not realize how much we need it, but you need this too. Everyone who's experiencing conscious growth and expansion needs to see these kind of interruptions and disruptions. And I really believe that we're experiencing awakening as we start to move into this first of the year. But I believe also that April has a tremendous portal that's about to open. It's kind of like double doors. I love the door here because it's so huge. It gives room for people to move through freely. But I feel like that in April, there's going to be a double door opening of portal of awakening. And I believe that some of the people that you thought would never wake up, you know what I'm saying? Because when you start thinking in terms of new thought outside of the box, you can see them on social media and you're like, oh my God, how can you even see the world that way? And you try not to be judgmental, but there's that ego part. None of y'all? Just me? Okay. There's that ego part that sits there sometimes and says, I cannot believe they think this way, right? Those people, the denial and the bypassing the way the world is going to be impossible for people to do. And some people will go further, deeper into a state of denial, but the majority are going to begin to wake up. That's the good news. And then we're moving toward that. So in this season, there's a reason that I felt the week or so before December, last week of November, that I felt like really felt strong that our theme for this year was Here We Grow. Now see, I didn't think about it when Here We Grow being our theme. I forgot about the growing pains I experienced as a kid. And that a part of growth is being unsettled. A part of growth is not necessarily being comfortable. If you're looking for comfort in 2022, you're only going to find it within the depths of your consciousness. You're not going to find it in the world at large. And you certainly won't find it in media. You're not going to find it in the news. They can't afford that because if they're reporting good stuff, it seems that nobody wants to watch it. But I want us to watch 2022, watch what's going to happen over the next several months, how it's going to shift. We're going to start seeing an actual shift, like the boat is turning, like the Titanic is turning away from the iceberg that it's headed toward because we're raising the consciousness of this planet. But it's going to have its sense of unsettled. Already we see some of that. And I'm going to be completely transparent with you that I've had what I think, and I don't consider myself to be an enlightened being, although I used to seek after it, and then I realized the more you seek it, the more you push it away, because you confess that it isn't, and that's why you're trying to get it. So I'm not really seeking to be enlightened anymore, but I can look back at 3 moments, particular time periods of my life where all of a sudden there was a switch that an extra light went on. And I got to tell you, every single one of them were on the heels of what looked like devastation for my personal life. Does that make sense? In other words, the pressure needed to crack the shell hurt like hell. And if you ask my mama, they almost named me Ouch. So when I was being born, because I weighed like 10 pounds and 3 ounces, they almost named me a 4-letter word, and it wasn't love. So my mom was, I know it's like twins. She's like, oh my God. Plus they almost killed us because they actually didn't know that they'd overdosed my mother with some kind of I guess it was, I don't know, some kind of a drug. And she said that I was all kinds of weird colors when I came out. I said, aren't all babies kind of weird colors? They said, my first child that was born, when she came out, I was like, can you put it back? I said, it looks like a lizard. It changed colors like 14 times. Are you sure that's not an alien? And anyway, but the birthing process is messy. It's chaotic. And I know you probably have heard me say this stuff before about the delivery room, but if you walk by a delivery room and you don't have any knowledge or understanding of how birthing happens, you would think they're killing somebody in there. because it's noisy, it's messy, it's chaotic, it's painful, it doesn't sound fun. Anybody in here given birth? Is there anybody ever had a child? I have not personally bodily, but I've been in the room for all 4 of my biological children, and I got to tell you, it is an amazing miracle of life, but it is chaotic. It's loud. There's pressure. The whole time, and I don't want to say this to their mothers because they're like, you didn't have the worst. The whole time I had a headache and sweating because of the stress level in the room, because it's just touch and go and you don't know. And when Rhett was born, the doctor was over in the corner with the nurse at just before the last push saying, I overheard them, and I was like, I can hear you saying, it's too late to do a C-section because of where he's at. His heart rate is going up extremely high. Right now, we are in a really sensitive moment. Something has to happen. And I overheard them saying this about how worried they were, and the doctor was worried. And I went over to Rhett's mother, and I said, we've got to get him here now. And I wasn't going to say to her, this is the danger zone, but I had heard him say it's the danger zone. And I said, let's get him here now. And she looked at me, she said, I'm exhausted. I don't have anything left. And I said, you got to have some left. You have to, because we got to get him here now, like right now. And so we just took a moment, paused, took a deep breath. I said, just imagine I'm pushing with you. Let's go, let's go. And it was just like, and it was the loudest scream I've ever heard in my life. And then all of a sudden, wah, wah. But it was everybody went, there was a collective breath. What am I saying that for? We've been in sort of a delivery room now for like a holding state for like 18 months, 20 months. And it seems like there's a feeling of if we don't push, this could be really bad. Let me tell you something. Weeping may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning. And I think we've got enough to push. And I don't believe this thing's going to die. I believe this thing's going to be born into the world. Everybody good? All right. I feel like a preacher today for some reason. All right, let me share this. So I wrote these things down because it was coming really fast. First of all, we're entering a season and a series for the whole year of 2022. And I'm calling it the 12 Disciplines for Conscious Living. The 12 Disciplines for Conscious Living. And I'll go through those real quick. And for everybody who's joining online, these slides will go up. We're going to talk about faith, maybe what it is and what it isn't, where we've been with the idea of faith. I want to talk about strength and what true strength is as we move through this phase. Wisdom. As much as I love knowledge and gaining knowledge, Bob, I actually believe that probably wisdom is the most powerful of the two when it comes to wisdom and knowledge. I think wisdom is the older brother. I really do, or the older sister. It's the one that guides the knowledge. We're going to talk about love and what that really means. What's love got to do with it? Everything. And then we're going to talk about power. What does it mean to actually have power and to be empowered? I want to talk about imagination. Along with that comes creativity. Understanding. In all of your getting, according to the Proverbs, the Jewish Proverbs, in all of your getting, get understanding. I want to talk about will and what it is to have willpower. I want to talk about order. I want to talk about zeal, which is not a word we use very often in our world, but basically the word is excitement. Excitement. And then I want to talk about renunciation, what it means and what it doesn't mean, and how this can guide our consciousness. And then I want us to look at life. What is life? And what does it mean to live life, to celebrate, to not just survive, but to learn how to thrive in this world and really, really, really live this life. And so that's what we're looking at doing for 2022, just to kind of set some things in order. For us, I wrote this stuff down. I'm going to go through it, and then I would like for us to spend some time in meditation. I want to remind everyone that is watching, those of you who are watching, to continue praying for everybody who's dealing with COVID. You know, this new strain that's out there. We don't need to live in fear, but it's good to be cautious. And this new strain that's out there, you know, I mean, a lot of scientists are saying that it's really similar to a pretty rough cold, more like cold symptoms, and that the odds are, they're saying 97% of people are probably going to come in contact with this strain anyway. But to not fear, It's apparently not the same as COVID-19, but who knows what's flying around in the air. I think we're going to, again, get a revelation of that soon. We're in a several-year evolution of societal change, major change. I call it holy shift change. Look at somebody and say, holy shift. That's S-H-I-F-T for everybody who wondered. The fall of really old structures to make room for the new. It's going to make some of us feel like we've lost our foundation. It's because the foundation has to be moved so that the new can be built. What we're building is not going to fit on the old foundation. Jesus warned about new wine being poured into old wineskins. And so we're seeing a bursting because there's new wine being attempted to be poured into old wineskin ideas, and it's bursting. Somebody the other day said, I'm losing my mind. I said, congratulations. Because when you lose your mind, then now you have space to take on a Christed mind and a conscious mind. So it's demolition time. It's reconstruction time. It's messy. It's loud. It's dusty. The rise of authoritarianism is going to continue. The previous 5 years really helped us to unearth that, to actually see what was already underneath. So I want to say thank you to everyone who was a part of helping to unearth that. Because some of us didn't realize it was there, but it was, and it got revealed very, very clearly. It's human tools for that, nothing more. These are just the tools that are opening this up. Sometimes leadership figures sometimes are a sledgehammer, and they just take a hammer to it, and they unearth what's there. You know, I believe that sometimes political figures are kind of like an X-ray that show you the tumor that's beneath, that you didn't know was growing, and it becomes terminal if we don't have a revelation of it. Anybody with me? All right. So we're going to continue to see that. There's some lessons that humanity has not learned yet. We still haven't learned lessons when it comes to being careful to sell our soul to one particular person or ideal. We need to understand that it's okay to follow, but be mindful that you don't follow to the degree that you give up your own soul for the sake of following. There's no one that great. By the way, you know, one of the reasons that I think Krishna Murti was so looked at as a messianical kind of figure is because he kept telling people, stop coming, stop following me. And they were like, you are the Messiah. You know? And he would say, I don't believe in messiahs. And they would go, oh my God, you are the Messiah, you know, because supposedly you're not supposed to. Anyway, all right, I'm sorry. That was just a weird moment for me. Okay. Human beings are still showing that we haven't learned our lesson about a lot of stuff. The core of this country's supposed values will still face challenges. The values of this system. In fact, I believe out of the countries that I mentioned a moment ago, where we're going to see probably the most disruption and eruption is in this country. This country actually is a beacon to the whole world in many ways, and that's why it's going to affect and possibly infect the world with how things get shaken. The collective is going to decide what will happen to this nation as we move forward. Although I do believe that authoritarianism is rising, I do believe it will also be put down publicly. We will see it publicly be put down. I believe that there's a collective that are consciously aware that that's not a necessary thing for us to continue to do. Even clearer divisions between factions of people groups. It will become more clear. But April is going to bring a wide open portal and a mass awakening like we've never seen before. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm perceiving. We're going to look at hot spots, France, the Ukraine. The biggest one will be the United States is what I'm believing. I believe that the true origin of COVID will be revealed in this year. There's a triangle of unrest, as I mentioned a moment ago. The financial systems are a sham. They have been for a long time. It's an illusion anyway. And so as we see the economy and people talking about the economy and know this, the economy of your soul and the economy of eternity is much more important than any numbers you see on the stock market because it's all built out of an illusion. If you look behind the curtain, you find out who the Wizard of Oz really is. And those who are consciously aware are going to be completely unworried about it. In fact, look at your neighbor and say, neighbor,
Don't you get afraid on me now. Don't you get afraid. So there's going to be more of the same. There'll be power struggles. It's going to be downplayed as far as inflation. The inflation of our world is going to be downplayed because there are people who have built their whole empires on you not knowing that the inflation is what it is. But they're going to continue to try to cover it up. But the understanding, I believe, is going to unfold. We're going to see it very clearly. There's going to be what I have been believing for a long time, a transfer of wealth. I believe that it's going to now become less of a monopoly and it'll be moved amongst the masses. We're not in trouble. You say, well, all of that sounds like trouble to me so far. We're not in trouble. We're in transition. Somebody type that in the comments. We're not in trouble. We're in transition. We're not in trouble. We're in transition. Let that be your mantra this week. Can you do that? You think about that. I'm not in trouble. I'm in transition. And when you're in transition, what happens is if you don't transcend and transform into the beautiful butterfly you were intended to be to start with, transition seems extremely strenuous. It's kind of like moving. I know as Hazel has begun to get things together, and Danielle too for that matter, get things together to make some moves, you unearth some stuff. You're like, oh my God, I forgot that was even there. Why did I even keep that? And you tell yourself, I remember when I put that up, I thought to myself, why am I keeping this? Well, I may need it at some point. And then you look at it and you go, oh my, it was just taking up space. So as you're in transition, I'm inviting us to move toward a simplistic way of living life. To simplify. Somebody say, simplify. Simplify. Let go of the stuff. There's a scripture in the New Testament that says, lay aside every weight that so easily holds you back. Lay aside all of the weights. I think, and I want to be careful how I say this because I mentioned on Wednesday during our midweek connection, there will be times during this year, I'm pretty well convinced, there will be times during this year where it'll be really lovey-dovey John, sort of like this whole sort of Gandhi, sort of Eckhart Tolle, kind of like, and I love all of that. There's going to be times this year, though, that for some reason I feel like there's a preacher guy showing back up. Not preacher in the sense of judgmental, but just more like direct with things. But I need you to know everything centers around love for me. Everything centers around love. But I'm telling you, the reason that often we desire so much for ceremonies like Burning Bowl is because so many of us are still holding on to so much stuff. I believe this year we're going to lust for or desire Burning Bowl less because we're actually going to already let it go. And by the time we get to Burning Bowl, we're going to be holding this paper going, I have nothing to put on there. It would be extremely powerful is if we had a Burning Bowl and nobody came up. Because you will have already vacated. You will have already let it go. You will have already let it be. I choose to let it be in 2022. Just let it be. Welcome it. Every challenge, welcome it. So lastly, you're going to notice that you'll no longer be shaken to your core over the unrest of the outside world. You'll notice that when you hear what's perceived to be bad news, that there's such a settled space within you that you just know, hey, listen, that's somebody's perception. It's an illusion. I can notice it, but I don't have to live in the vortex of their storm. I promise you, you will get invitations into people's battles. You will get invitation into people's wars. You don't have to accept the invitation. It has an RSVP on it, and I suggest that you decide to not go to that party. So that when you can lovingly say to people, I just refuse. I refuse to show up at that particular party because the party I'm going to is simple, it's loving, and it's celebration. And some people will say, well, that's just looking at life through rose-colored glasses. Well, if you have the option, wear them. Wear them. Because perception is the ultimate reality, whether it's the ultimate truth or not. And I choose this year to grow through what I go through. To not just go with the flow, but to grow with the flow. To expand. And I know that expansion sometimes makes you feel sore. I know this. Yesterday, I'm sitting there and I'm doing inclined bench press. And my right shoulder tells me, you're growing. Because my right shoulder said, I don't like that motion. And it was sore. As I've stepped my game up moving into 2022, my body's aware that I've stepped my game up. There's some soreness that comes along with shifting to the next level. But let's grow anyway. And when the people around you say, you're just getting too weird for me, remind yourself of who your tribe really is anyway. Yes, you know you're one with the world, but find yourself right back with the weird people. And there's some of us here. I said the other day, I know, Bob, thanks, Bob. You love me anyway, don't you? I was driving down the road the other day, and I said to Carrie, I said, sometimes I'm really weird. And she said, yep, you sure are. And I said, wow, you agreed quickly on that one. Thanks. Appreciate that. She said, yes, but that's why I love you. And I said, yeah, way to save it. But no, seriously, I think it is time for us to really know who our tribe is. While we love everyone and we're inclusive, we know this. And somebody asked me the other day, they said, well, is your church a church for everybody? And I said, well, first of all, it's not a church, but I understand what you mean. But I will say that One Love Spirit Center, One Love Community is a place for anybody because it's radically inclusive. But no, it's not a place for everybody. I know that because not everybody will choose to walk this path. But those who do, come on along. Let's do some really cool, weird stuff in 2022. Let's step out of every box that we have experienced up to this point. Let's give ourselves permission. I'll say this lastly. I think I said that already, that I was going to say this lastly. Let me tell you something. You're lucky because 20 years ago, really when I first started pastoring or pestering my first church, I had 6 endings. I would have 6 conclusions. I would say, in conclusion, and 60 minutes later, in conclusion, I've gotten it down to 2. Okay, so I'll say this. I believe this is the year, and this is for somebody I think in this room. I think you'll vibe with this. This is the year for you to experiment. Really experiment. This is the year for you to let that dream that you let die. It's time for you to look out the back window and see that the seed did indeed go into the ground and die. But as Jesus the Master said, unless a seed goes into the ground and dies, it remains alone. But if the seed goes into the ground and dies to its form, it multiplies. This is the year to experiment. Experiment with what you want your life to be, not what you think it has to be. Now, I just said a mouthful there, so I want you to sit with that for a moment. Experiment with the life you want it to be, not what you think it has to be. Well, I just don't know. Because if I go after my dream, then what about my 401k? I was just about to say. Yeah, what about it? The security sometimes is not security. Sometimes it's handcuffs. Sometimes we're living behind the bars of our own beliefs. What security? Again, I go back to this year, I believe we're going to see the unmasking of how insecure all of the systems are. This is the year to experiment. And for some, the experiment's going to turn out better than you thought. For some, the experiment will turn out worse than you thought. But the point is not about the end of the experiment. It's about being in the creative mode of experimentation. And as you do that, you're going to expand your whole being. And I'm telling you, this is a year of growth. Well, I thought about what about all the negative stuff? See, I brought all of that to the table first because I wanted you to really be able to, let's all shake off the conditioning of thinking we have to have this world stable. Is this world stable? My confession this year is that inner peace is my natural state of being no matter what's going on outside. I refuse to let the outside temperatures determine the climate of my soul. I refuse to be a thermometer that just hangs around. I choose to be a thermostat that can turn it up or turn it down when I get ready. Can I get a witness? Somebody up in here. So let's spend a few moments in meditation, and then I see Fraser showed up, so you gotta sing. You gotta, because you brought your axe with you. That's what they call guitars, by the way. He didn't actually bring an axe. Don't get scared. But I see you brought your guitar with you, so we'll have to get you to share a song, if that's okay with you. Let's take a few moments, though, and let's sit with some of these ideas. And the one I want us to sit with the most is I'm not in trouble. I'm in transition. I'm not in trouble. I'm in transition. I am not in trouble. I'm in transition. Inner peace is my natural state of being. Notice your breathing in and breathing out. And remind yourself, inner peace is my natural state of being. I'm not in trouble, I'm in transition. I know that anything that costs me my peace is too expensive. And I'm becoming choosy about where I spend the currency of my soul. So I choose transition instead of trouble. Inner peace as my natural state of being. I truly let go of what no longer serves me. I simply give it away. I'm not losing anything when I do. I'm making space. more peace. Keeping that simple quote, I'm not in trouble, I'm in transition, keeping it in mind, I'll invite us into a series of 3 deep breaths. Breathing in through the nose, about 4 or 5 seconds. Hold at the top of each breath, and then simply let it go. Preparing now for that first breath together. Begin. And our second breath together. Begin. And our third breath together. Begin. If you would, repeat these words after me. I am not in trouble. I am in transition. And so it is. And so it is. All right. As you feel that, open your eyes, look around the room. Send some of that loving energy to someone else. Or zap them with love. I love that. That's good stuff. Oh, so much love in the room. Thank you all for being here. Fraser, man, come on up and let's hear a song from the Fraser. Do you want your guitar?
I brought it.
Awesome. I'll make sure that we give you a plug then. How's everybody online? Is everybody good? We love you. Let's say hello to our online folks. Say hello to them. Thank you for joining us today. All right. Let me get you a chord.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Wow, it's so good to see all of you today. And I really look forward to celebrating Hazel. Hope we're all doing well today. I have a pick somewhere in my pocket. It should be okay. Considering using a pick for this one, I thought I had one. There we are. So, this song that I chose for today, I think y'all will appreciate it. I actually wrote it as a gift for my sister for her birthday, who happened to be the day after Christmas. So I sort of performed it in our church service for her birthday and the church that I grew up in. So this is just a simple reminder of what Jesus did for us. Called You Took the Blame.
Turning back the pages, could I get one last rewrite? Could I feel the wages of of sin before life. As I sit and wonder how I let my life pass by without ever knowing how you paid the price. It's funny how the time gets away when we should call on your name, and then to realize we're carrying the flame. 'Cause you took the blame. Well, you took the blame. We're blessed, but we are broken, held together by your hands. And you could charge a fortune, but you don't make demands. I'm humbled by your story. You gave with every dying breath, so I give you the glory. Through life beyond death, it's funny how the time gets away when we should call on your name, and then to realize we're carrying the flame. 'Cause you took the blame. Well, you took the blame. It's funny how the time gives away when we should call on your name, and then to realize we're carrying the blame. Oh, 'cause you took the blame. Well, you took the blame. Oh, you took the blame. So I call on your name.
Sorry, y'all. I've got a really weird pickup right here, so I'm trying to like keep it in there, but yeah. So love that song, and I thought I'd give my hand at one more that I wrote this song back in the day, and it will need some dusting off, just like the one from last week. But I think it packs a powerful punch, and this one I call "Ways to Give."
Wipe the blade that cut all my fears that shifted into gear, and I wiped away the tears that were holding me down. I turned the key that locked all my dreams and my reality. Oh, and I got the part of me.
Okay. I keep stepping on it. I think that's what's happening. It's already a bad pickup. I hate to stop in the middle of a song, but okay, we're gonna try this. Okay, well, if it happens again, then I'll probably just do that. All right.
That needed to be found. I said I'm thinking about the day when it's time to answer. Is this the life you wanted? Or is it made to break you or to keep you honest? Whatever the case may be, I hope you own it and love the life you live. and dream of a day when we can find ways to give. Insanity, it seems, is a disease that makes us believe that what you aim to keep is just out of your reach. So breathe your energy, relax and just let it be. Oh, talking is easy, so practice what you preach. Oh, said I'm thinking about the day when it's time to answer. Is this the life you wanted? Or is it made to break you or to keep you honest? Whatever the case may be, I hope you own it and live the life you love and dream it happens from above. It covers you with this one love. Oh, push comes to shove. Thank you. Pardon the interruption there.
Interruptions are perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's hear for Fraser, y'all.
Thank y'all so much.
And when I was first introduced to Fraser, I thought Bob said Frazier. Frazier. And then I found out his name was Fraser, and I was like, well, that's kind of a cutting edge name. You like that? Bob, was there anything that you wanted to share today? I mean, sure. Well, come on down then, if you want. Looking mighty spiffy, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bob.
I got my soul on today, Danielle. My double souls. I knew Melissa was here, so I had to put my shoes on. Melissa's like, can I put your socks on for you? I'm like, okay. So I was upstairs listening to everybody gathered today, and I looked out the window, and there are cars in the parking lot and friends walking in, and I just was so happy. I'm just so glad we all get together, and we're just you guys are the tribe that I've been looking for my whole life, and I'm just incredibly grateful to be right here, right now. And I was thinking of us all, and I thought, I got to tell these guys something that I know they know, but it's always worth being reminded, which is the world forgot to tell you that you all won the cosmic lottery and that you're all bajillionaires. You have all the resources in the world to do whatever you want, whenever you want, and you're safe and sound and strong, and you can just explore this universe. And there's not enough money in the world that can buy sight, that can buy eyes, that can buy eardrums, that can buy a heart. That there's not enough money in the world that can buy you neurology, that can feel a hug and the warmth of someone's cheek and ear on you when you say good morning to them. We are saturated in love and abundance. And so I'm so glad that this lottery is something that we all get to share and celebrate together, and to be with people that know that and get that, because I just came back from visiting my mother. And she's like, Bob, would you stop with the love stuff and just get a corporate, multinational job or something? You're too bright to be doing what you're. I'm like, no, Mom, this is the multinational job. This is the big. This is the best party in the universe to be at. So anyway, for those of us that kind of get that and and get into it, and then we're like, really? And it's like, yeah, really, yeah. And then, wow, this is amazing. So all those transitions that I've been through to be secure enough to get here and remind myself that love is the only thing and everything else is an illusion. So congratulations for winning the lottery. I hope you all spend it wisely and have fun and share, share, share.
That's awesome. I love that. And don't spend it all in one place, or do, whatever you... That's fantastic. You have won the lottery. I love how you rolled that out, man, because it's so true. There's not enough money in the world to buy this neurological ability to feel a hug or to sense love and to have this sensation of that. Wow. Yeah, just think about how blessed we are. Okay. And if you would, stand. I've said that this is our theme song, and it's really just one I love to hear anytime it comes on. When I'm working out in the gym, I typically have Bob Marley radio on, and this is one of my favorites. Of course, one of his most known songs, but we love it. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Hear the people crying. One love, oh yeah, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Oh yeah, let's get together and feel alright. Sing it one more time, everybody now. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. Hear Birmingham crying for one love. Oh yeah, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Oh yeah, let's get together and feel alright. Everybody give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. And so it is. Everybody shout with me. I'm not in trouble. I'm in transition. All right, now let's celebrate Hazel. Hazel and Danielle are going to be, I didn't want to point you out everything, but they're going to be both moving on to their different adventures. And we're throwing a party for Hazel as she's getting ready to go to Kansas. She's going to Kansas, baby. And I don't know where Danielle's going all over the place, right? Because you're going to be in a truck or something. All right. Let's wave at everybody. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's party, y'all. I love you, I love you, I love you.
It's beautiful, it's full of life, and it is all blue. I see a sunset on the beach, yeah. It makes me feel calm. When I'm calm, I feel good. And when I feel good, I sing. And the joy it brings makes me feel good. And when I feel good, I sing of the joy it brings.